This edition of MacVoices is supported by you, our viewers and listeners, through our new Patreon campaign. If you get value from MacVoices, please consider helping support the show by visiting patreon.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, I've been trying to do better at doing follow-ups from some of the events earlier in the year, follow up with some of our friends on what's happening with them later in the year. And this is one of those, but this is not just a follow-up. This is a special announcement from BoxCast. And I'm happy to welcome back Gordon Daly, the CEO of BoxCast, to tell us about it. Gordon, it's great to see you.
Great to see you too, Chuck.
Yeah, it's better than doing it just once a year. It's always better to just get back and hear the news and find out what's new. So BoxCast has made a pretty big partnership announcement kind of thing, and I'm not going to steal your thunder. I'm going to let you tell us.
Oh, well, thanks. I'm happy to announce to the community that we've teamed up with Telestream to add Wirecast integration so that BoxCast can work, BoxCast platform can work really well with Wirecast. I'm sure many of the people in the community are familiar with Wirecast. It's a great tool for doing live production with your computer. It's a software tool that you can put on a software. And we've worked together to make it so that you can stream directly from that software right to BoxCast with your BoxCast account to get a real nice integration.
So that sounds like such a simple thing. Oh, yeah, just, we'll just now use Wirecast and BoxCast and everything will be good. And it's not always that easy. This represents quite a bit of work to do the integration smoothly so that it all works smoothly for the customer.
Yeah, well, at BoxCast, we're all about it being easy. And we had compatibility always, like any other RTMP source. You can stream video from any kind of RTMP compatible software or encoding device. But this is nice because you just log in with your username and password, and you can pull all of those details through in a much more seamless way, so that you don't have to worry about making a copy and paste errors. And then you can get the benefits. If you're already a Wirecast user, you can get all the great benefits that the BoxCast platform offers.
When we did our first interview, I know I was kind of blown away at what you all have put together and how easy it is and how affordable it is. Since then, there have been some competitors come out, but I still think there's something very special about your service and what you offer and the power that you offer for not just maybe a small business, maybe even for an individual if they're willing to go that direction, but for a small business, for high school and college sports, and anybody that wants to get out there and get a wider distribution. And now with Wirecast, I feel like that just expands your availability and your market to the customers.
It really does. Wirecast is a very, very, very popular tool that is used by a lot of those organizations that you mentioned because, it kind of fits their price envelope, and it gives them a lot of capabilities that they can use with the existing hardware that they might have in terms of having a computer. Those organizations have, some pretty powerful computers, laptops that they can use, and it just helps them get a little bit more with what they already have in tow. And I'm pleased that you've seen the success of BoxCast and customers that have had success with BoxCast. It just makes for a perfect match because with BoxCast, we focus on the organizations like you shared that really care about their brand, that want to maybe get a little bit higher quality, that don't want to worry about maybe being limited in where that video can go. Because with BoxCast, you can stream to any number of destinations. There's no limit to the number of viewers that can watch. You can make money from it. You can add protection and passwords if you want. There's just a lot to more of the professional service that we offer. So it's a great pairing. It really is, between what Wirecast is as a product and what BoxCast is as a platform for organizations that want to get the most out of their streaming.
I've talked to a number of companies that offer some variation of a streaming solution, be it from your iPhone, your iPad, from a more professional camera to Facebook to YouTube. as a subscription. It's sort of all over the place. And it's been very interesting to watch the shakeout, that there are the companies that have gone on, they've continued to evolve and develop. And then there's some that just, okay, we stuck with it. This is what we have. And they don't necessarily fall out of business, although some have, but they just sort of fall out of the awareness sphere of people being aware that, okay, these are solutions, because they've been surpassed by things like BoxCast and a few others. And I'm curious to see, just, was this sort of on your roadmap? Or, I mean, obviously you've improved the service over and over. You've iterated the service, but was the integration with Wirecast something that you had on the radar, or did the opportunity just come to you?
Well, to be honest with you, we understand that these organizations, as they mature, they want to put together a more professional production. And oftentimes that means that they want to introduce multiple camera angles. They want to maybe put some overlay graphics in, or run some videos. And at BoxCast, we don't make really these live production tools, but we want to be compatible with them, because that's what organizations want to do. So, what we've been focused on and obsessed about is, how can we make it super easy to take that video that you've created, if you're a video artist, and get that out and distribute it to as large of an audience as you can, wherever they're at, with the highest level of quality and reliability. So it makes logical sense for us to work with partners who have, video production type tools. So it's a pretty good fit in that way, and that it unlocks the beauty of the BoxCast platform in an easy way to a much wider audience, because there's a pretty good install base of Wirecast users out there. And, I'd love to see, BoxCast customers buying Wirecast more and more, in order for them, as they upgrade in sophistication, because everybody starts small and they get better and better as they hone in their craft.
We've had Telestream on the show before, and they do such a great job, no matter what piece of software. They're one of those companies that just, it's always, if not the best in class, or considered widely the best in class, one of the very best in class. And so to see this partnership along with BoxCast is, it just makes so much sense if you want to take your productions to that next level.
Yeah. And I think that I can't speak for Telestream, but I mean, they've recognized the customers that we've been so attracted, that have been so attracted to BoxCast, are great potential customers for them too. So it's really a win-win. Schools, organizations, municipalities, churches, houses of worship, synagogues and others, small businesses that are looking to do a lot more than what they can just do with some of the free tools that are out there. That's when they realize that, hey, they want to put their best foot forward. And it's one part video production, and it's also very much one part in the distribution, about how can I most reliably get to the most amount of people. And that's why it's just a perfect match. One thing, Chuck, too, it's pretty exciting. We've got, that goes along with this, schools lately, we've noticed, have had regulations as to closed captioning capability on videos that need to be read for the hearing impaired. And that's an avenue too that we're able to start to do more for. So when you get the BoxCast platform, there's countless amounts of sophisticated features that you can stitch on if you're an organization that you may need in order to exist in the environment that you're in. That's where we really shine, is when you want to do a little bit more, when you realize, oh, I actually need this to be viewed by people in a remote location that are all sharing the same WAN, and we can do some peer assist capability. Or I really need my uplink to be stronger, and that's where, hey, BoxCast might have H.265 based solutions that other people don't. There's all kinds of little add-ons or monetization add-ons that we can do that kind of help those organizations get over the hump to do something new that's special to them.
And the monetization thing is important, because you can only do so much of this stuff for free, and then you want to start trying to figure out how to make a business out of it. And it's great to go and get that audience, but to your point, when you want to take it to that next step and add all the sophisticated tools that are necessary for monetization, along with some of the other distribution aspects of things, you need something like BoxCast and Wirecast to put that product out there.
Yep, and I'll go back to it. I think that the hallmark of what BoxCast is making this technology, this great technology, easy, so that anybody can get started without having to get a PhD in computer electronics just to stream it. It's just a really beautiful, elegant product to help people get the most out of it.
So I'm going to take that as a little bit of a segue to zoom us out to a 30,000-foot level. Again, when you and I first talked, streaming may not have been in its infancy, but it was definitely quite young. And it was a little bit difficult to get things out there with the free or even the paid tools. There were some challenges, and you had to have some technology and all. And now there's solutions out there as simple as Facebook Live that just push a button and go live, and that's great for what it is. But I'm curious as to what you think about the trend toward live programming. Because I know that's something that we talk about here all the time. I'd love to do more live stuff, but there are issues for my audience in Europe, and sometimes for the audience. We're both on East Coast time, so on the West Coast it's a challenge. But yet people seem to love streaming and they want streaming. What is it about streaming? Is it that live engagement?
That's part of it, but I think the biggest aspect of it is that we live in a society today where we want what we want, right now, and there's not that level of patience to wait for it to happen. And to be honest with you, yesterday's newspaper isn't even valuable anymore if today's newspaper is available. So there's that element of having what you want when it's fresh, and people, and you can't have something that hasn't happened yet. So that anticipation is something that in our I can't wait society, people just love to be up to date and with what's new and what's relevant. And if they know something is live, it's so much more interesting because you can't predict, you can't scroll ahead to see what happens, to skip past it. You have to just sit there and wait, and that being forced to sit there and wait creates anticipation. So there's some human psychology involved in the power of live, but studies just continue to show that live just outdraws attention, which is what brands want exposure for, and there's so much staying power to it. So I see the value of live. I'll be happy to share with you some statistics. We see 10 times more viewership for live than for events that are watched afterwards in an on-demand fashion, just to put things in perspective. So, I'd like to say that live is 10 times more valuable just based on what the data shows us for the same events. That's
really interesting. I would not have expected that kind of differential. Wow. Yeah. And I like what you said about the anticipation part. You're right. In a world where we do want it now, it's tough to make people wait. We talk about the pace of storytelling. If you go back to the 70s and early 80s and look at the pace of a TV show, and then look at the pace of a TV show that's produced in 2018, two very different things. And it's surprising. I guess we're all just trying to cram that much more information into our experiences. And streaming, to your point, streaming slows it down maybe just a little bit and gets some of that anticipation back.
Yep, that's right. That's right. There's other elements to this of live streaming that are really important to know, and that is viewers know that live streaming can't really be faked very easily. When you see post-polished materials, they're kind of they just instantly just dismiss it as, oh, that can be made up or fake. But when it's live, it's authentic and it's real. And that's where I think there's another element of that human engagement that's undeniable, right? They know that they can't be faked. And here's what's so cool about this is that when you're streaming live, yeah, you want to pay attention to it, but it's actually probably a lot cheaper to stream live in a way because you don't have to worry about all the post-production because the viewers have such a lower expectation level of what is acceptable. they're actually happy and they hunger for the authenticity, and they find it acceptable when the video production levels are a little bit lower versus what post-produced content is. So the irony is the cheapest form of and best content is live, by just doing what you naturally would do.
Wow. And so that means that I've got to get over my obsession with trying to get things exactly right and not worry about it and just get the content out there. Is that what you're saying?
Well, everybody knows that you'd never make a mistake anyway. But sometimes I think viewers just enjoy knowing that, hey, it's okay if the host might make a mistake once in a while too. And sometimes, I mean, that authenticity in this world where everyone's sick of being, faked out on something, it can go a long way. It's neat because if you have a little bit of, it shows a little bit of the human element, right? And people do fall in love with people if they can see how they're interacting, and it's not a bad thing if everything doesn't have to, if everything doesn't go perfect, because it helps people actually fall in love, I think, a little bit with what they see.
Interesting. I do know that I get that kind of feedback from the video version of the show. They do feel fewer people watch, but they feel more engaged because they are seeing you, they're seeing me. They feel like they get to know us. And if we jab a little bit at each other, they can see the twinkle in the eye and know that it's not serious, as opposed to something that's transcribed or even post-produced.
Yep.
Yeah. So we have to talk about price a little bit, about BoxCast, about Wirecast, and about just what it would take for me to set up some kind of solution to stream a live event. So what kind of pricing are we talking about for the different levels of services?
So on the streaming side of it, there's a pretty wide range, but I think it's the most important thing to realize is that BoxCast doesn't charge by viewership. So it doesn't matter how many viewers or events you want to do. It's really the only thing we charge differently for is the features that you want. So if you want to get started, you can go to our website right now and you can see that we've got out there $99 plans that kind of get you started. And it's graduated pricing really up to the much more enterprisey type features and functionality. And to be honest with you, we don't even put all of the capabilities that we have as a company on the website. But to kind of give you a feel for where things start, it's around in the $99 and up range. And from a Wirecast standpoint, thumb in the wind, to get started, it's about, $500 range to get started, and to use that kind of video mixing software, which is about half the price of what a video mixer might be from a hardware standpoint these days. Because hardware video mixers, you could probably there's starting to be ones that will do HD mixing for, closer to that range, but most of them are around $1,000 and then up from there for the folks that are at this level.
Okay, sounds good. So it's very affordable to get into, and it's about as easy as it can get, at least at the moment. I'm sure you guys will find a way to make it easier eventually, but for right now, it's pretty darn easy.
Yeah, that's what we do every day. Try to figure out how to make it easier.
The website where folks can learn more about all this.
They can go to boxcast.com. That's where we're at. Everything that they need, it starts there, and we'd be happy to extend the conversation with anybody that wants to learn more.
Gordon, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the time, because I know you guys are busy, but this lets everyone know just how easy it is to get out there with BoxCast and Telestream and do some streaming of your own. I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices, and we will be back with more soon. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our MacVoices Facebook group and get more out of your Apple Tech with MacVoices magazine, free on Flipboard. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us at patreon.com/MacVoices and join these folks who help keep MacVoices coming to you. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.